How many of you guys are fans of Deathloop, Dishonored, pretty much anything Arcane makes at this point? When Deathloop came out for exclusive to PlayStation, I played it. I really enjoyed it. It was a very uplifting experience. I went into that blind because I was kind of on the edge of it, because my mindset's like, it's not Dishonored, so I'm not going to enjoy playing this game. But I was completely wrong with the experience of Deathloop. It's a fantastic game, worthy of the Arcane studio name, worthy of even something like Dishonored. It's definitely up there with Dishonored. Sure, is it different than Dishonored? Yes, it's not the same game. A lot of people are wondering, yo, what's next? You know, after it came out to Xbox, they did that big update. It was like the golden update, something related to that. But people don't know what's going on next with Arcane and the Deathloop and even Dishonored franchise. I got an interview with Smiley.com Presents. They are interviewing the cast of Deathloop, people who play Joel and Juliana. Those two individuals are being interviewed here. And I'm going to switch over to the scene. We're going to watch the actual, just look at the facial expressions. Look at the facial expressions to what he's saying. And I'm kind of curious to see your guys' opinion. Put it in the comment section below. Is this just something that, I'm just overlooking? Now, obviously, this is happening. Something is going on here. So let's go over here. So as you can see, this is the interview. And what I want to point out is, look at this dude's eyes when he says this. He clearly knows, okay, maybe I shouldn't have said that.
Very much a straightforward type style audition.
He's going over the audition.
Do you remember like the code names they were using for it or anything like that?
Yes, I can't say them because.
All right, so right there he asked for the code names. For those of you who don't know, there is code names to almost anything you could think of. There's code names to all the Xboxes, to games. They do the code names so they can hire under the radar for that certain game, so they don't actually have to come out and show what they're working on to that degree. They could go out like, look, we're looking on Scarlet. We want you to see the code name, so when we get you on, because when they do these hirings, they don't want people going out that's just hiring process, but they're not actually hired, because they want them to sign NDAs. And sure, they probably make everyone sign NDAs, but it's a lot easier to show this code name because it can keep it secret for a lot longer.
Because they're still sometimes hiring us under the code names.
Oh, interesting.
So he said they're still sometimes hiring us under the code names. So that means that they're clearly doing something with Deathloop. Maybe the franchise. Now, let's pull this back a little bit. Let me go back to this scene. This is pretty much, look at his eyes.
Interesting.
I can tell you nothing.
Did I just say?
Look, she knows that he messed up. Because if you notice, she picks up this conversation really fast. And like I said, this is pretty old content. It's about 2 months old.
Something I shouldn't have said.
Look at him. He knows he's nervous. He's having a tall, the dude who plays Spider-Man moment, which is funny. She actually brings him up.
I am.
And look, she picks up the conversation immediately. So clearly something's going on here, But let's take a step back. I think this is Dishonored 3. And I know people are like, Addict, if these two individuals are working and they're under the code name for Deathloop, why would Dishonored be in the conversation? The reason I think that is because they actually had an interview with someone that worked at Arcane, and they just came out straight and asked them. They're like, look, is Deathloop in the Dishonored universe? And he confirmed it is. To me, why would you confirm that? Because that's just going to open up a giant can of worms. People are going to speculate, oh, they're making a Dishonored. They're doing this, they're doing that. Now, I feel like you wouldn't say that and you wouldn't confirm that when you could have easily have just dodged around that question, PR'd around that question, unless you were wanting to generate some form of hype for Dishonored. Now, I'm not going to say that this next project is Dishonored 3, but I do think you're going to have Dishonored characters in these games. Would be cool if they built the Dishonored universe. And now, since Cole has escaped the scenario he's in, I'm not going to spoil anything for Deathloop. What happens if now he goes to where Dishonored's taking place? What happens if they make another Deathloop, but the characters from Dishonored 1 and 2 are in it? Maybe some of them are evil. Think about that. Maybe he goes to those regions and they're evil. It's probably been a while. We don't really know the time frame for this, but I feel like if they're going to make another Deathloop and it is confirmed to be in the Dishonored universe, there is zero reason to not use those characters or utilize those characters to any degree. Maybe it'll just be the character, the places, but I don't think it's that. I honestly truly feel like if it doesn't happen in this next one, they're going to merge the two IPs eventually. I don't know when. Maybe I'm completely over talking boundaries here. Maybe I'm just completely off mark. But to me, the moment he came out and agreed that Dishonored is part of the Deathloop universe, then why would you say that if you had no intentions on eventually marrying the two IPs together? It's like I said, what happens in the next one if, Corvo's still alive, Emily, and you could choose between Cole as well? Why is it they're all working together to do something in the future of this franchise? I don't think the Dishonored franchise is dead, and I feel like Deathloop did good enough to justify a sequel to it. But what happens if they go above and beyond? And that's the question I want you guys to put in the comment section below. I know I got some people that are fans of Deathloop and Dishonored. I'm myself huge Dishonored fan. I love Deathloop, but I do think it's better to take on the Dishonored name, make a Dishonored 3 with Cole, maybe even the other characters from Deathloop, and go into some new bad guy. Maybe even Corvo is the bad guy. Like I said, there's so many things they can do by introducing both these IPs together. But put in the comment section below what you guys think. Do you guys think I'm completely off track? Probably. I wouldn't be surprised if you guys thought that. But definitely put in the comment section below. And until next time, this is Gaming Guide. I'm out of here. Peace.